Hey, Elpis team. So I wanted to get on here to talk to you guys a little bit about systems. I know that we have talked about doing the systems in our team huddles, and we never quite got to it yet. So I wanted to make this so you guys could continue to refer to it if you need to. So I'm going to talk an overview about systems and some things that I use that work for me. The biggest thing for a system is to make sure it works for you. Helps you can have a system to help you remember things, to help you, be organized. But it's for all things. And I think sometimes we call it a system and make it more complicated than it is. But so we need systems all through our life, business and personal. And I'm just going to share a few. So, excuse me, my allergies are kicking today. So, like for instance, you have kids. You need to have a system in place that for you to do work. So in other words, when you are seeing a face, or you are doing a virtual, or for a team huddle, maybe it's you have to have that. The kids have reading time or something, or play on their tablet or whatever have you, or a backup babysitter if you need to. So that's a system. I have a system for grocery shopping. I Excuse me, my husband and I do not go in the grocery store. Every Sunday night, I sit on my phone and I order it from Walmart to have it delivered or to pick up the next day. So that is my system. I have a system for laundry. That includes, my husband's laundry goes in one hamper and mine goes in another, and then I do laundry on Thursdays and Sunday. So that's my system for that. I have a system for cleaning the house. I have a system for just all kinds of different household chores and all those things. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about our business systems and also I mentioned the personal systems because you need those personal systems in place to be able to have a business system. And I say that because our business and personal and the business that we do is so intertwined with our personal, right? So I'm just going to share a little bit about what I do. And sometimes it takes a while to find a system that works for you, and that's the key there. You can take maybe a system I have will work for you too. Maybe you can take it and tweak it to where it will work for you. But we're all different, and we all have different priorities. But yeah, and sometimes you take a system and in what's working for you now may not work for you later, so you may have to tweak it. But I will say to get one that is for your potential growth, not necessarily just for what works for you right now. So my recommendation is to get a system that you can grow with. You like I said, may have to tweak it, but you want to be able to grow with it. All right, so one system that I have is for warm chatting. Whether it's I see someone in a store, or I try very hard, no matter what I look like. I've already warm chatted to someone this morning, and I'm very little makeup. I'm wearing, look at this. Oh, this is my new sweatshirt that my husband got me. It says, "All I need is Jesus and the beach." Isn't that cute? But anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I don't wait. I used to wait until I had full face makeup on and I looked really cute to warm chat, but you know what? That's not reality. And on a day to day, this is what I look like. So this is what I'm going to present. But I think it's more about the attitude. And I go in with a good attitude. I'm talking to people. I warm chatted the girl that I constantly see in Starbucks. So I chatted her. But what I do is I give them a little thank you. So anytime that you are going to exchange money with someone, you should be giving them this. Whether it's your server, whether it's your hairstylist, whether it's the barista at Starbucks. So it's just a little organza bag, and I have a little mini lip gloss. You could put any little sample that you have. And some people don't even do a sample. Some people just put a little few pieces of candy in there. But the point of it is that you're thanking them. And I put in a business card, and these are my business cards, and I have my face on here because, especially if I'm warm chatting, and they may not remember me. They may they may not know my name. So if they just have a card on here that would just with my name, they're gonna say, "Well, who was that? Where did I see her?" But if they see and they recognize the face, they're like, "Oh yeah, she's the girl I met in Starbucks," you know. But anyway, it doesn't have my address on it. It just has all my contact info on it. And then on the back here, it's a QR code. And this QR code takes them to my Pink Mini site, which you guys can earn if you do a $600 wholesale order, just by the way. But anyway, that's all I have in here. And I stick it here, and so I have a bunch of these in my car ready to go, and I have a few in my handbag. So that way, if I ever meet somebody, I can quickly give it to them and just say, "Hey, I just want to give you this. This is just a gift from me to say thank you." And I usually give them some kind of compliment, like, "Thank you for being so nice. Thank you for doing your job so well. It's really appreciated." Everyone loves to be appreciated for their job, especially like customer service people, because trust me, they probably get more bad than they do good, right? So always try to make it a point to thank them and tell them what a good job they're doing. But this is really it for that. I do recommend highly that you get their number and name, so that way you can follow up with them. Okay. So that's that, and I call that a blessing bag. Okay, another system that I have is for leads. So say I'm warm chatting and I get her name and number, right? So this is called my lead notebook. And sometimes I just use a regular spiral notebook that I bought at Target or CVS. I just happen to have this one, so I've been using this one. But literally, as you can see, this is my system for leads. So a lead is someone that I have met, whether it's at a vendor event, it's warm chatting, or referral from somebody, whatever. And I'm writing them down with their contact information. So my system in here is that I check mark there when I have contacted the person, called them, texted them, whatever. And then when, like, say, this person. Okay, so this person just was totally not interested, and so I just crossed her out. Sometimes you'll get, well, I'm already a consultant or I have a consultant. I will cross them out and just put consultant or has consultant or something like that. And then I will do a double check when they're interested. And then I'll circle them or highlight them after they've been facialed. Okay, so this is all my leads that I keep track of. It's just easier for me. This is what works for me. Some people use an Excel spreadsheet. This is what works for me when, excuse me, just hit myself in the face. So this is what works for me because I can easily refer to it, and I don't want to put a bunch of type people into a system unless they actually do something. Okay, so once they have agreed that they want a facial, then I stick them on an Excel spreadsheet, and that's my booking log. So on my booking log, I'm going to pull it up real quick so I can tell you guys what I have for my booking log. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. I have the date that they were contacted, their name, how I have been communicating with them, whether it's by messenger, text, project broadcast, email, cell, whatever. So I put that on there. And then I have the next column is the Zoom Studio Messenger Facebook. Like, how are they wanting to have their session? So, and then the next column I have, where did I meet them? Because once you start getting a whole bunch of leads, it's really hard to keep track of people and where you've met them. So I have where I met them. If they were referral, I put referral and then the referral name. And then the scheduled date. So once they have given me a date, so the column goes in, the square goes in red if they need to schedule or reschedule. It's in green if they've already scheduled, and then I have the date there. And then if they've been facialed, then I either gray it out or do orange or something like that. And then I also have the next column has the pampering package been mailed. So if I am sending them to a pampering package, I want to make sure that I've put, yes, I've mailed this, and the date. And then I've asked if they want friends to join, so I'll do that. And then have I shared the opportunity. So, and then I have a note section. Okay, so that's my booking log. Really easy. That's what works for me. Okay, so here's the other thing that goes along with that is my system. So if it's a virtual, then, and I have sent them a packet, I fill this out. So this is what I use. I use this, and we get this from MK Connections, but this is what I use for my virtuals. Because, and then I have a basket here on my desk, see, with a little label that says virtual. So that lets me know that I have sent them a packet. It's got their contact information, and then I highlight the date that they have scheduled, that we've scheduled the Zoom. But it's got, everything on here. And then on the back here, I put which packet I gave them and everything in it, because every now and then if they say, you know what, I have this problem, sometimes I put a sample of whatever concern they have and what product I think they may like, and I may put something extra in there. So that's why I write it out. And then I put when I mailed it. Okay, so if say I've mailed them a packet, but I haven't, they haven't scheduled yet, then there wouldn't be anything here. And then I know, okay, I need to schedule this. Okay, so, and then I keep them all in this basket. Okay, so another schedule I have is for leads. Excuse me, not leads, I'm sorry, potential leads for team members. So that's another Excel spreadsheet, and anybody that you guys have sent me as well, I keep up with. So this just helps, and it says like, did they do listen for a Lippy, Google form, or did we do the Pink Dreams? Did I talk to them about it face to face? Did we Zoom with them? So that way I can keep track. And then I have a big notes section on that one, because on that one I'm writing basically everything about that person, everything they've told me, what they do for a job, what they what their dreams and goals are, if they weren't interested, why, if I need to follow up with them, so all that section's pretty big. So that way too, and then I can always refer to it. Like for instance, with this $10 promo, see, I pull that Excel spreadsheet out. I'm looking to see if there's anybody that possibly, might be interested but didn't sign up at the time. And so I'm going to reach out to them and let them know, hey, there's, a $10 promo going on right now. And then I can also write in the notes, say, hey, I reached out to them on this date to tell them about this. Okay. So that's a system. All right, the other system I have, again, I like my pen and paper, but just a notebook like this. And I got a bunch of these off Amazon, and then this one is most important things. So every night I'm writing everything that I need to get done. And mine's kind of sloppy. Most of the time I have a date, and then but this one I was just kind of brain dumping everything I needed to do today. See, look on there, it says laundry, because today's Thursday. But anyway, so, and I do business and personal. So up here was business, down here is personal. And then that way I can just mark off. These are not everything that needs to be done, but these are the things that I needed to get together. So like I needed to make sure I get a booking today. Well, I've already done that, so I marked it off. I try to get a booking every single day. And then, I had to put some orders together, so I did all that. So I've already gotten all my stuff done, and it's, in the early afternoon, so which is great. So everything else I can just work on lingering things. All right. So along with that, another system I have is I keep this, and I keep this on my desk. And then here I have in the very front, and this helps me keep track, and this is just something I made, and this is just like my monthly task. So let me show you what I've got on here. Now this is the one that I probably have to tweak most often because not everything will apply each and every month, and that's okay. But sorry about that. Okay, so on here, like I've got at the beginning of the month, I know at the beginning of every single month I need to send out a birthday postcard to customers. So again, when you have your customer, which we're going to talk about in a minute, my customers, whether you use that, I use QT software. It doesn't matter as long as you have a place that you're keeping all your customers and their information. You can do a report on there and bring up all their birth dates. So that way, like in the month of March, you can see all your customers that have a birthday in March. So at the beginning of the month, I send them, let me get it for you. I send them a postcard. Now, a lot of people just email this, or that maybe they text it. You can just send a birthday text. That's not a big deal. I do think it's important to recognize your customers' birthdays. I do texting, but I also like to send them something in snail mail. So these are just postcards that I made myself off Canva and then had them printed. And I give them 20% off on one order during their birthday month. So it could be anytime during their birthday month. And then it just already has my address on here, and then all I have to do is just, sign my name and then put their address. So I put everyone that has a birthday that month, I do it at the beginning and send it all out at the same time, regardless of when their birthday is. So that way they have the whole month to actually place an order. And I actually get quite a few reorders that way. And a lot of my customers look forward to it. So that's one thing that I do. Also on here, this is some director stuff on here, but in that way I can just go and I can check mark, so I can keep track. Because I'm telling you, when you get busy and life happens and you're like, and it gets mid-month, you're like, oh my gosh, did I send out the birthday cards or not? I don't remember, so it's very helpful. That way I can just check it off. Yes, I did it. Sometimes I write a date of when I did it. Sometimes I don't. But also I have on here to update our unit website, with things, and it just helps. This is just my reminder. This is like a big old post-it notes what it is that I have for every month. All right, so that's a system. All right, another thing is that a system that I have, and I learned this, and it took me a while to get this together, was to have an outfit ready for events. And I always struggled in the beginning because every time we'd have an event pop up, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go buy something. I gotta get this together. And so what I started doing was just having a few go-to outfits. So I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to worry about it. I have one dress that I pretty much wear, and no one cares if it's the same. I mean, who cares? Who can remember, right? Have like a black skirt and a white blouse and then a blazer. You're done. But that's something that can go anywhere always, right? And so just have that in your closet, so you're not stressing over things. Guys, that's a system. All right, I have a system for ordering products, and let's see, and so I do a Mary Kay Visa card. So all of my purchases go on that. All Mary Kay purchases go on that card. So that way I don't have to keep up with tax info at the end of the year. I can just print off everything and it's right there. So that's my way of keeping track of it. I don't do money real well as far as like keeping track of things like that. So I have to have a system that's going to work for me. Okay, so all right, do get a system for how you're going to get leads, okay? Already know, instead of, what I'm saying is be proactive instead of reactive. So I have a system that I make a note of how many vendor events I want to do in that year. And because you have to look for vendor events early, so months before. So that's what I try to do and get those in, and so that's set and done, and that's on my calendar. But anyway, regardless if you do vendor events or not, you want to have 3 to 5 leads that you constantly have flowing all the time. Know what those are. Okay, I'm not saying like you need to have a system with, warm chatting, but if that's going to be one of your main ones, then make sure, say, okay, every week on this day, I'm going to go out and get leads. And tell yourself how many leads you're going to get. If you say, I'm going to do 5 leads every Friday, okay, well, then do that. Put that on your calendar and do that. I'm telling you, your business will soar. And this is how you build consistency. All these systems build consistency. Okay, that's what it's about. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. Note taking. Okay, when you go to events and you're taking notes, I have a system for that. I have tons of notebooks that, I just have a big basket. Actually, one of those baskets right there that are black and white, you'll find all my notebooks from all kinds of meetings where I've just filled them up. The current one I have is right here. So what I do is every single meeting, every single event, I'm taking this and taking notes. And then once it's all filled up, then it'll go in that basket. It's easy enough, right? Okay. Office organization. Okay, so if you guys are like me, you kind of want to stay organized. This is my thing to stay organized for this. This is what I have in here. So you have my monthly task thing. This is probably the thing that I refer to most when I'm working. I just have it laid out like this. I have communication. So what I have here is a bunch of different scripts, in plastic sleeves. That way when I'm calling people, whether I'm texting people, and you know what, I may not always use them and I may not always do exactly what they say, but this gives me confidence. This makes it at ease for me when I am talking to people. Like, I look at this and I'm like, and I read it before I call somebody, I'm like, okay. So that way I already have in my head what I'm going to say. So I'm not stumbling on myself. And that just gives me confidence. It works for me. And if it could work for you too. So don't feel like just because you've been in this business a while that you need to have everything figured out. I have done this from the very beginning. And so that's what I have for it. And it's under titled communication. Then I have like my monthly focus, things that I'm striving for the month. You always have to have your goals in place. That was my booking log before I decided to do Excel. So, okay, here's a good point. So, see, before the booking log, I had it on paper. Okay, but what was happening is that I would be at home booking, or I'd be here booking, or maybe I'm in the car booking, and then I didn't have this. Because I usually keep this on my desk because it's too big for me to carry around all the time. And then it just wasn't working. And then I was like, well, did I schedule her? Did I not schedule her? What was going on? And then I'm like, well, I'll just wait and do it when I get in the office. And then, so it just was not working for me. So that's why I went to an Excel spreadsheet on my computer, because no matter where I am, I can pull that up on my phone. I can pull it up on my laptop or my desktop. So it's always there. So that was important. So I just started that about a month and a half ago, and it's working so much better. And now I can say, okay, so that way when I'm in the car and I'm talking to somebody, as soon as I stop or I get home, I can jot down those notes in that log. So that's working better for me. And then, what else? And then I have like a log for new consultants. And so what's going on with them? And then I have one for vendor events, because vendor events is one of my ongoing lead ways that I do. So in here I have the vendor events, so that way I can keep up with it. So, I've got them all for the year. And so, and I'm putting the date, I'm putting contact information, what vendor event it is, how much it cost, any notes that I need to take. Did I pay for it? Have I been accepted yet? So this is my system for vendor events, so I can keep up. All right. So then the biggest system that I have, let's talk about systems that I actually pay for. Now, I'm not saying you need to go do any of this. I'm just telling the systems that I use. So I have a system, Project Broadcast, and I can't even remember how much it costs. I want to say like $20 a month. It has been a lifesaver for me because it sends emails, it sends text messages, but it makes it look like that, like I can send a mass text message or a mass email, but it looks like to the person receiving it that I'm only sending it to them. So I don't say, hey y'all, or hey guys. It's literally just got their name. Like it's personally from me to them. It also allows me to send a voice message, and it will go straight to their voicemail box. And so it looks like that I tried calling them, and then leaves them a message. And I can schedule things at different times, which is really great because sometimes I'm working late at night and I don't want to call anybody late at night, but I can use that, and then it's scheduled for it to go like 9 o'clock in the morning at a more reasonable time. So I absolutely love that. I use it especially for referrals because I don't spend a lot of time calling people, guys. I don't. It's text message. A majority of my communication is by text message with people. So that's what I'm using a lot. And that way it's also not going, and you can even choose a number that you want. And then it's forwarded to my personal cell. All right, so that's a system. And then I also have QT, which is like my customers, except it just keeps up with inventory and keeps up with all the things. I do carry quite a bit of inventory, so I want to make sure that I'm keeping that. It keeps record of everything that I sell, how much money I've made, how much, like any discounts I've given to people, all those things. So especially at the end of the year, I can pull it up and it'll give me all my tax information, and then I compare that with my tax information for my credit card. I hope all this is not overwhelming you guys, and this is why I wanted to do a video so you can refer to it or watch a little bit at a time. But then also, let's see, what else do I have? I'm trying to think here. I know I should have probably written all this down. All right, so, but I still use my customers. And I do that for PCP purposes. So because since corporate is sending out our catalogs for us, I need to make sure that it's in there. So when I see a face, okay, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, okay, let me just show you here. This is what I do for this. Okay, so we already saw, this is my virtual sheet, right? So at the top here, I write on here QT, MK, and PB for project broadcast. Okay, so that's what it looks like. That is my system, as easy as that is. So every profile beauty sheet that they fill out, if it's in person, if it's virtual, I'm filling this out. And it's literally QT/MK/ and then PB, sorry. All right, and then over here, it's a TU for thank you and an REF for referral, okay? So after I see a person, I am putting them into my QT system. Now, my QT system is the one that, remember, I keeps up with all inventory, it does my invoices, keeps up with all of that. So all of their information is going in there. Keeps up with past purchases, all those things. Now, my customers can do this as well, okay? So, and then I just slash through it once that's complete. Then I go over to Mary Kay. The only thing I put into my customers is their address and phone number. That's it. I don't put any other information. So I'm only using that for the purposes of PCP. Now, if that is your system for keeping up with your customers, then you'll put all the information in. And then PB. So I'm putting their birth date because my project broadcast automatically sends a, so I don't have to remember whose birthday it is and text them, since my customer base is rather large. It automatically sends them a message saying happy birthday. So that's a campaign that goes out. So I'm putting their birthday, their email, their phone number, and then of course their name. So, and then I cross check it off when it's done. The TU is a thank you. So I send a personal handwritten thank you note to every person that does a virtual or I see their face. So I'm wanting to thank them for taking the time out to be with me. And then the REF is for referrals. So I try to get referrals virtually and when they're in person. That's something that is also one of my lead generations that works very well for me. So after I have taken their referrals off of either the screenshot from virtual that they've sent me or their profile sheet that they fill out during their facial, then once I have that, and guess where that's going? Right here, guys. It goes into my lead book. And let me see if I can find, here it is. So this one right here, Missy Gilbert, referrals. And then I'm writing down all the referrals she gave me and all of their phone numbers, okay? So once I've done that and it's gone into this book, then I check mark this off. And then this gets filed. So that's my system for that. Very easy, right? Okay. Paper storage, honestly, I don't really care about that system as much just because, but I don't want to spend so much time organizing papers. But I also don't want them all over my desk because when you go to events, you go to different things, you're going to get papers. Maybe you see something online that you want to keep. You know, whether it's downloaded on your computer if you can. Sometimes we don't always have, you know, that. So I just keep these folders like this. And I just wrote on here, like this one's business management. This is anything that has to do with time, emotional management, the disc. What else on here? Oh, mindset, money. So everything. And it's not organized. I just have a bunch of papers in here. Okay. The next one is, this is things that need to be filed. So whenever I have a piece of paper or something and maybe random notes at wherever I was, you know, I'll put it in here to deal with later. These aren't important. I don't want to spend my time doing things like this. I have one for team building. I have one for selling, booking and leads. And I have one for leadership. Okay, so that's my system on that. You don't want to spend you want to spend your time on the systems that's going to end up making you money. Okay, so spend the time doing that. All right, let's see. We went over the business cards. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Also in QT, I can keep up the money portion. Like I have a system here for when I do go to events. If let's say I take, you know, one of you guys out for coffee or something like that, I'm keeping those receipts. I keep all receipts of events because all that is tax deductible. And you see here is receipts, and I haven't done this in a while, but but this is where I throw in those receipts. And like this right here, I put CC for Career Conference Pittsburgh. Okay, so this was dinner one night. So I'm putting them on here, and these I can enter into QT. So it'll keep up with that. So at the end of the year, all I've got to do is hit print, a report and print. So that's what I like that. Okay. So I know I've covered a tremendous amount. Best thing is I hope I've given you some good ideas, and so you can put your thinking cap on and kind of get things situated. Oh, so sorry. The other thing I want to tell you was calendar. Okay, so yes, calendar, very, very important system. This is where you're going to keep up with everything. Okay, so again, I used to have a calendar that I had on my desk, and I would write everything down. What I noticed is that I was transferring that information all the time, and then things were getting missed. So for me, what works for me is this. My phone calendar. I can always pretty much guarantee that my phone is always with me. Always. So I'm just using my phone calendar. And I even have it in categories, so it's colored. and I go in there. I have purple for MK. I have green for if it's a wedding. I have I think it's a lighter color purple if it's just a follow-up. Yes, I put follow-ups in there. So when I'm talking to someone or we're texting and they're like, oh, not right now. And then I say, well, can I follow up with you in a couple of weeks? Guess what? It's going in here. It's going in here as a reminder on my calendar. So as soon as I'm off the phone with that person, I'm pulling up my calendar, and 2 weeks from that day, and I'm putting in there follow up and the person's name, and then they have a notes section, and then I'm putting follow up for opportunity or follow up for booking or whatever it is. And so that's how I keep track of that. So I really hope this helps. And maybe you guys have a system that works and you want to share with the unit. I'd love to hear. So bottom line is, as long as it works for you. Okay? All right. If you have any questions, as always, I'm here for you. You let me know. And if you're struggling, let's work on it together. All right, guys. Have a blessed day.